The tragic murder of Emer O'Loughlin, a 23-year-old art student, continues to haunt Ireland nearly 2 decades after her untimely death. On April 8, 2005, Emer's life was brutally cut short in a caravan in County Clare. The case, which remains unsolved, has recently gained renewed attention as the Gardai, Irish police, issue a fresh appeal for information about the prime suspect, John Griffin. Emer O'Loughlin's body was discovered in a burnt-out caravan near the Bun in County Clare. Initially treated as a suspicious death, it wasn't until 2010, when her remains were exhumed for further tests, that the full extent of the tragedy was revealed. A second post-mortem examination confirmed that Emer had suffered a violent death before the fire, with severe head and back injuries. John Griffin, formerly of the Merview area in Galway City, quickly became the focus of the investigation. Griffin owned the caravan where Emer's body was found, and his actions in the days following the discovery raised suspicions. Just 11 days after Emer's remains were found, Griffin vanished from Innismore, one of the Aran Islands. In a bizarre turn of events, his clothes were discovered at the edge of a cliff near the Duanaonghasa fort. This led to speculation that Griffin had faked his own death to evade justice. Griffin's disappearance triggered an international manhunt. He was placed on Interpol's most wanted list, with authorities believing he could be hiding in Britain, Germany, Spain, or the Netherlands. A more recent sighting in Morocco in 2019 has led Emer's father, Johnny, to believe Griffin may be at large there. The Gardai have never given up on solving Emer's murder. The case has been featured on crime shows and documentaries, including TG4's true crime series, Maru Inar Misk, Killer Among Us. Most recently, it was highlighted on RTE's Crime Call program, where the Gardai issued their latest appeal. Investigating officers are urging the public to come forward with any information that could help trace John Griffin. They believe Griffin may hold crucial information that could assist in solving the case. The Gardai are also reaching out to previous witnesses, acknowledging that the passage of time may have changed people's willingness or ability to share information. The O'Loughlin family continues to struggle with the loss of Emer and the lack of closure. They have actively campaigned for justice, even creating a Facebook page called Justice for Emer O'Loughlin to call for witnesses. The family has also corrected misinformation about Griffin's appearance, noting that he has an Egyptian Eye of Horus tattoo on his Adam's apple, rather than a Celtic design as previously reported by Gardai. The Gardai at Gort Station are investigating all the circumstances of the death of Emer O'Loughlin, 23 years, at Ballyborna, Tubber, Company Clare. On the April 8, 2005, human remains were discovered in a mobile home close to where Emer lived with her boyfriend. The mobile home, which belonged to a man named John Griffin, had been completely destroyed by fire. The human remains discovered inside were later identified as being Emer O'Loughlin's. On May 19, 2010, investigating Gardai exhumed Emer's remains, which were then removed to Galway University Hospital where forensic anthropology tests were conducted. The tests indicated that Emer had died a violent death, and as a result the investigation was upgraded to that of murder. Investigating Gardai are hopeful that the public can assist with efforts to trace John Griffin, formerly of the Merview area of Galway City. Gardai believe that John Griffin may have information that will assist them and are eager to interview him as part of the investigation. Garda appeal. Do you have any information that may assist with the investigation? We may have spoken to you previously, and due to the passage of time you may now feel better placed to assist with the investigation. Have you seen or spoken to John Griffin at the time and / or in the intervening years? AKA Fozzie Griffin. Do you know the current whereabouts of John Griffin? Emer's family are still struggling to come to terms with her loss and are asking for your assistance in order to bring them closure. If you believe you may be in a position to bring closure and get justice for them, we would like to hear from you. Be assured you will be treated with sensitivity and compassion by the investigation team. Gardai are of the belief that John Griffin is still alive, and at the time of his disappearance he was assisted by a person or persons unknown in leaving the island of Innismore. AGS have never received a missing person report in respect of John Griffin. Extensive searches were conducted along the coastline following the finding of his clothing. however he has never been sighted nor has his body ever been recovered. Description of John Griffin. Height, 180 centimeters, 5 feet 11 inches. Age, 56. Build, slight. Accent, local. Other, bald on top of head. Often sported a beard, which he shaved off on occasion. Known by many by his nickname, Fozzie. Tattoo, throat area, described as an Egyptian Eye of Horus. John Griffin is described as being 5 feet 11 inches tall, with a slight build. When last seen, he was bald on the top of his head, and is known to sport a beard, which he shaves off on occasion. He is known by many as his nickname, Fozzie. The now 56-year-old has a distinct tattoo of the Egyptian Eye of Horus on his throat. At the time of Emer's death, John Griffin had a tattoo similar to this one on his Adam's apple. At the time of Emer's death, John Griffin had a tattoo similar to this one on his Adam's apple. Griffin was nowhere to be found when the fire at his caravan was first reported. Gardai later traced him to Galway City, and he said that he had stayed with a relative the night before Emer's death and knew nothing about the blaze. 2 days later, he barricaded himself inside Dun Angus Fort on Innismore and, following a 9-hour standoff with Gardai, he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital for 5 days. Upon leaving the hospital, he shaved his hair and beard, and on April 18 he boarded a ferry to Innismore. A pile of his clothes were later found folded on the edge of a cliff on the island. Gardai believed he faked his death and is alive and hiding under an assumed name in Europe. There has been several reported sightings of Griffin across Europe over the last decade. As the 20th anniversary of Emer O'Loughlin's murder approaches, the case remains a painful reminder of a life cut short and justice delayed. The Gardai's renewed appeal underscores their commitment to solving this cold case and bringing closure to Emer's family. They urge anyone with information, no matter how small, to come forward and help bring an end to this 2-decade-long mystery. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more true crime stories.